Okay, I'm coming. Good morning. How is everybody today? Oh my gosh, I got my groove back. Yesterday I was blue all day long. I don't know why. I guess because Terry wasn't here and Philly wasn't here and nobody was here to make me happy. But anyway, Jerry came home last night and so now I'm all chipper again. Guess what Jerry's doing? The man is 68 years old and he's getting braces. Now, how cute is that? I'm so excited for him. And guess what I'm drinking? I'm still on the Herbalife so-called diet. I lost 6 pounds right off the bat, as you know. I got down to 148, and now I'm just rocking back and forth between 148 and 149. Now, I ran out for a couple days, so I guess I cheated a little bit, but the stuff is really delicious. I'm telling you, I don't even care if I don't eat because I prefer to have the shake. It is so good. So anyway, I guess I'm now, what do you call it, a distributor. I am a major tightwad when it comes to buying stuff, my beads, my jewelry, whatever. If they say, if you buy 300 pink beads, you'll get 50% off, then I'll buy 300 pink beads to get 50% off. So I found out if you become an Herbalife member, and you don't have to sell it to anybody, just to buy it for yourself, you can do it, anybody can do it, then you get to buy it for a little bit cheaper. Now, you do have to pay like $71 for this stupid packet that comes with all kinds of stuff, and I don't really need all the stuff that was in that packet. You know, all kinds of papers and forms and a little bag that's like a little briefcase in case you're going to go out and walk up and down the streets and sell it. So I didn't really want that or need that, but I had to pay for it in order to be a member. So you might not want to do that. But anyway, I've ordered the teas and I've ordered the bars, and I'm trying right now the tea. It's supposed to have caffeine in it. And of course I drink 10 cups of coffee a day anyway, so I don't know why I need to drink this, but I thought I'd try it out. I'm trying out lemon right now. Hey, maybe that's why I'm so chipper. Maybe there's double caffeine in it or something. Who knows? Anyway, I have had a lot of requests to do a demo on how we make these little dresses that I'm making for the missionaries. Let me get out a cute one that'll show up good on the camera. Here's one that I made, and I used knit fabric. We're using tank tops. They are actually adult extra small tank tops that are made for Hooters employees. They all come with this big orange label in them that says Hooters. So the first thing I do is I get in a chair with a seam ripper and I take out all the Hooters labels. So this one, I use knit fabric to make the little skirt, and the others I've used cotton fabrics to make the little skirts and the little inset there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pleats, and there's a center back seam. Okay? So real easy to do. Terry just figured out how to do it and told me. So I'm going to tell you how we do it. Now if you're doing it for your children or your grandchildren, you won't be able to go by my measurements. These are extra small adult shirts. And so when they come to us, they're really long. You know, they come down to like here, they're long. And so, excuse me, when we make them for these little 5-year-olds, 5- and 6-year-old girls that are at the mission down there in Nicaragua, we have to shorten them quite a bit. And so Terry has grandkids, and I guess she has, she held the little shirts up to the grandchild and figured out how much to cut off of these. So we take all of the shirts. The first thing we do is cut out the labels. The second thing we do is cut off the extra at the bottom. And in this case, we cut 3 inches off the bottom of every tank top. Now let me tell you kind of what you need to check when you do that. And this is with all t-shirts. I have never found one that's exactly perfect. But if you just cut 3 inches off the bottom, you are liable to end up with the 2 side seams being way different from each other. So I always measure down from the underarm to the bottom on both sides, and sometimes I'll have to move the ruler up a 1/4 inch on one side or up a 1/2 inch on one side in order to get both side seams to be the same distance. Because you want the skirt to hang straight on the bottom. You don't want one side seam to be longer than the other. Now, of course, you know, for the girls that wear these to work, they probably just tuck them in and nobody ever sees the bottom. But to see one side's longer or shorter than the other one. So I do that. Anything else I do? I wash them. Terry and I both wash them, so whatever they're going to shrink, they'll shrink. And all of the fabrics that I use have already been washed. So I don't know how they do the washing down there in Nicaragua, but it won't shrink if they do wash it. Okay? So what we did, after you cut the 3 inches off, you measure across the bottom where you're going to sew your skirt on. And in the case of these, it measures 10.5 inches, okay? So it's 10.5 inches across the bottom. You have the back that's also 10.5 inches, so you have to double that. So 10.5 plus 10.5 is 21 inches. Then I added 8 inches to it because I'm adding 4 2-inch pleats. When you get through sewing the pleat and pressing it, it ends up to be a 1-inch pleat. But it starts out, you have to have 2 inches of fabric to do it. So I add 8 inches for the pleats. That gives me 29 inches. Then I'm going to have a seam up center back. So I have to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance on each side of the center back seam. And so that's a 1/2 inch plus a 1/2 inch. So I end up with 30 inches total that has to go around the bottom of this skirt, the bottom of the t-shirt. 30 inches total. This only totals 21 inches. But I'm going to cut my fabric at 30 inches. And I'm sure you people that sew totally understand that. Now, the next thing you have to figure out is this little inset up here. Terry decided that these t-shirts are probably going to be pretty low on those little girls, and plus it makes it cuter. So all you do for this is put a piece of paper under there and draw around this little shape right here. Add a seam allowance to it and make yourself a template. This is cardboard. Cardboard. And I made myself a little template to cut out all the little inserts for the top, and I made myself a template out of cardboard because we're doing so many of these, you know, I need it to last. So I made myself a template out of cardboard for the skirts. So I marked on this the side seam, the center front is over here, center front is right there, center back is right here and has the 1/2 inch seam allowance. So since this is half the skirt, half of 30 is 15. So this is 15 inches wide. I've marked the 1/2 inch seam allowance here. I put in 2 pleats because you're going to cut this double, and so you'll end up with 4 pleats. So you place center front on the fold of your fabric. Cut it all out and mark the pleats. Now for the pleats, I placed the pleats 3 inches from center front and 3 inches from center back, and that's the center line of the pleat, 3 inches. And the reason I did that is because on my patterns, my personal patterns for me and other women's patterns, the pleats, what besides a pleat, the darts always fall under your bust point. Mine's 4 inches. Sometimes I do 4 1/4 inches. But I figured these little girls aren't going to be as far apart as we are, and so I made theirs a little closer together and just decided to do it, what did I tell you, at 3 inches, okay? And so each little dress ends up with the 2 little pleats being 6 inches apart, okay? And I think that's a really cute place for them. So then all you do is cut out your piece of material. I don't have any that are cut out right now. And the very first thing I do is fold the pleats in. I fold the pleats and I sew them all down 2 inches. I sew them down 2 inches from the top, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. I also, when I'm cutting the skirt out, I mark the pleats at the bottom and I mark the pleats at the top. So when I'm pressing them, I can get the pleats straight, on the straight of grain when I'm folding them together, and I can see my mark down at the bottom. I hem the bottom at 5/8 inch, sew it on with a 5/8 inch seam allowance. The hem over here is 1/2 inch. It's that simple. That's as easy as it is. And of course there's a dozen different ways you could do it, I'm sure, but several of you have asked me how I do it. So that's how Terry and I do it. Now, for those of you that are interested in maybe doing this, Terry's home. She's been gone. She's always going somewhere. But she's back right now. And let me see. I could give you her email or something. If you're interested, let me know, and I will send you her email address, okay? And then you can contact her. We're doing it for some missionaries. All I know is the lady's name is Karen. She's in Ohio or someplace. And she just now took the first load of dresses that Terry and I made. She took them down to Mexico. And she's going to put them on the little girls and hopefully send us pictures of them so we can see if they're too long, too short, just right, whatever. But if you're making these for your kids and your grandkids, you know, just measure them. It's that simple. And do y'all know about shoppersrule.com, by the way? These t-shirts come to the missionaries. They're actually seconds. These all had a hole in them. And Terry and I had to patch all the holes to start with. But you don't have to buy seconds. But Shoppers Rule sells real darling little girls' tank tops. And at Shoppers Rule, you can name your price. Now, let me tell you how you do that. They had some t-shirts, and they wanted $8.50 a piece for them, I think it was. And so you can say, I said I wanted 50 t-shirts, and they said, do you want to make an offer? And I said, yes. So I offered them a ridiculous offer of $3 a t-shirt. But when you do that, they will always come back and they'll say, oh, thank you so much for your offer. We really appreciate it, but it's horrible. This is the absolute lowest price we can take. And I think they came back with $4. So figure it out, from $8.50 to $4, big, big difference. So try Shoppers Rule, SHOPPERSRULE, shoppersrule.com if you want to buy some t-shirts. Otherwise, go to Penny's, go to wherever you go to usually get them. So that's all I know. Did I want to tell you anything else? I made a blouse yesterday, but I'll show you that in some pictures, okay? I've got to go. And did I tell you I'm Joy, in case you haven't figured that out? And it is Friday, February 27, 2015. So bye for now. I'll run around and turn this thing off. Run, 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 run.